fun to do a quick highlight on some of the key certifications and programs I've participated in and what takeaway I used most from each of those. I guess I'll decide when I dig in whether it's a specific tool or just a concept or idea that influences my coaching the most. Okay, I gotta give props to the first, which if you follow the coaching industry, you may have mixed feelings about, but it's from the Life Coach School. That is where I initially trained in life coaching. It was actually an amazing certification. Things got kind of wonky after I left, and it's arguable whether they're still wonky or not. But the main tool I learned from the Life Coach School is really just along the lines of cognitive behavioral therapy, also integrated and mixed with a bunch of other ideas and modalities. Maybe some Abraham Hicks thrown in there, some Byron Katie thrown in there, some Tony Robbins, like all influenced, but really just the ideas around cognitive behavioral therapy, which is that our thoughts create our feelings. Now, if we look at the model, we understand that things happen, things like abortion. Abortion is a circumstance. We know that it's neutral because some people have abortions and they feel great after. Some people have abortions and they feel regret after. Some people have abortions and they feel grief after. The reason an abortion doesn't create the same feeling in all people is that it's not the circumstance, it's not the situation, it's not the event that creates the feelings. It's the thoughts we have about the event that create the feelings. So, for instance, I had an abortion, and a primary thought in my life around my abortion experience is, I'm glad I live where I live, right? Like when I think I had an abortion, it's kind of followed up by, I'm glad I live where I live. And that creates a feeling of gratitude. Another thing that comes up with me around my abortion is I had an abortion. A thought that I have is like, I wish I didn't have to make that choice. In other words, I wish it hadn't happened. That thought makes me feel sad, but sad in a way that like I'm okay with. I'm not opposed to that kind of sadness. It's just part of being human. Sometimes things happen to us that we are sad about. What happens with our feelings is our feelings create our actions. They create the way that we behave. So when I've had an abortion and I think, this is a thought I don't think now, but I used to think a lot. It's not fair, because I used to think it's not fair that women have to make these decisions. It's not fair that pregnant bodies bear the weight of pregnancy, like uterine holding bodies. I used to think it's not fair, and that created resentment. From that resentment, I would sort of ruminate and I would compare and I would blame. And so the actions I took from resentment are very different than the actions I take from gratitude. So we have a circumstance, we have thoughts about a circumstance. Those thoughts create the things that we do in our lives. Not just like I wrote a book, but I beat myself up. I blame my partner. I replay the past. I dissociate. Things that we do both in our minds, in our physical actions, but what happens from that feeling? And then of course our actions create our results. So Life Coach School helped me understand the model. At first, when I learned about the model, I went to a very well, that's easy. We can fix our brain with our thoughts. If we change our thoughts, we change our model. We change our experience. And so how great is this? Change our thoughts, change our life. It's not that simple. It's taken some more study, some more experience, some more exploration to be able to navigate the model with more complexity, with more nuance, with more curiosity, with more play. So as I've integrated the model with the other pieces, which I'll talk about next, I've understood that it's not cut and dry, it's not a template. Human beings are messy and complex, thus models can easily be messy and complex. But it's a super useful tool that I come back to often as a coach. Actually, not very often with the client, but it's helping me understand the client experience.